What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla Versus. It's been months since I did the last one of these, and this one's actually not been requested. I think I've touched on something like this before. I think I did a full Godzilla 2014 vs Cloverfield video. However, this one's going to be focused on the new incarnations of these guys. This one's going to be focused on Cloverfield from the Cloverfield Paradox versus Godzilla Earth. Let's be real, you all know going into this video who's gonna win. I might as well have just called it why Cloverfield would never stand a chance against Godzilla Earth. Because look at it this way, very simply, Cloverfield just isn't that strong. Don't worry, Cloverfield fans, I'll do a better job explaining my analysis here in a minute. Adolescence. Starting out with the babies of each monster, let's take a look at Clover first. In Cloverfield, we learn very little about the Clover monster. Even in the Cloverfield Paradox, we don't know much. For strengths, we know the monster is around 300 feet tall. He has super long arms that can reach to be hundreds of feet in front of him, and he can take shots from multiple stealth bombers and tanks without dying. He's also very quick and has strong jaws and strong arms. His weakness is, he's weak, very simply put. He's injured by tanks and takes serious damage from the stealth bombers. This doesn't mean that he's inherently weak. In fact, he's fairly strong for a kaiju. However, he's just not strong enough when looking at his opponent. He's very lightweight, which could be seen as a good thing because it leads to him being quick, but he's only 6,000 tons. He's not going to be that good at brawling. It's like taking some random kid who's like 6'9" and only 130 pounds and putting him up against a 5'9" bodybuilder. It's like size isn't gonna save this guy. So that's it. There really isn't much to the Clover monster. Now let's talk Godzilla. What we know about Godzilla Earth as a youth isn't too vast, but it does clearly lay out how he can easily defeat the adolescent Clover, even though he has lots of disadvantages. Strengths. For starters, I want to make it clear that I'm going to be considering Godzilla Earth and Godzilla Phileus the same thing here. I'm treating Godzilla Earth as Godzilla Phileus because Godzilla Earth started out young in the movie, and in the timeline he was young, around the same age as Godzilla Phileus, so we're just going to treat them as the same thing here. And that gives Godzilla Phileus an immediate advantage in this, putting them into being the same thing because Godzilla Earth is just OP. So Godzilla Earth has killed dozens of kaiju in the past. The first time he made landfall in the 2030s, he killed 2 monsters without taking any damage, and then he was so well off after that fight, so clean from the fight, that he was able to continue destroying California for the following day. Godzilla Earth was able to tank at least 150 nuclear weapons at once. He has also withstood being buried underground in a nuclear wasteland, and all it took for him to escape with 0 leverage was a few shots of his atomic breath and a full year of thinking it out. Godzilla Earth is also kind of invincible. He generates a permeable shield from his dorsal fins that makes it so that nothing can actually touch his skin. The only way to break this shield is to amplify a sound that's emitted from an organ inside of his body. He has tremendous regenerative abilities. This damage reduction makes it so that he can heal instantaneously unless his organs are disrupted from doing their job via EMPs placed inside of his body. He can generate an energy output from around his body. When charged, he can centralize it into a particle beam that contains atomic energy. AKA, he can fire atomic breath out of his mouth and destroy anything it contacts. This has been seen to be able to cut through large chunks of metal without even slightly slowing down. Godzilla Earth weighs about 10,000 tons. Now on to his weaknesses. He's only 150 feet tall, which wouldn't be a disadvantage unless you're considering his opponent is twice as big as him. His other disadvantage is he's very slow. The Clover monster is just gonna have the speed advantage to this one. And his last disadvantage is if an inner EMP is placed inside of his body after his shield organ, his central dorsal fin, is regenerating, then an energy buildup will occur inside of his body, resulting in him exploding. That's the only way to kill him. The fight. Godzilla has the clear strength advantage. He was able to tank multiple shots from nuclear warheads. Godzilla has a sweet long-range attack with his very powerful atomic breath. He is also unable to be affected by physical combat due to the shield his body generates, and Godzilla takes home the weight advantage in this fight as well. He has a regeneration factor that will heal him from anything Clover throws at him, and Clover is quicker, but that doesn't really matter when he can't do any damage to Godzilla's body. Clover also displays pain when hit with bombs, whereas Godzilla tanks nukes without any question. And and Godzilla would ultimately beat Clover with his increased weight overbearing Clover, his strength and atomic breath chipping away at the monster, and his experience in fighting kaiju before, as well as his regenerative abilities and his shield keeping his body safe. Both monsters have parasite armies. Godzilla has the Servum and Clover has the Clover parasites. However, I don't know enough about either of these two species to be able to incorporate them into the fight. Godzilla Earth versus the full-grown Clover. Clover's new strengths. The new Clover is full-grown in the Cloverfield Paradox, and it stands at what I estimate to be around 6,500 feet tall. That's all we know about him, so I'm just gonna move on with the assumption that everything else from the previous movies stays the same, just on an increased scale factor. Godzilla Earth. Strengths. With a new height of over 300 meters and a new weight of 100,000 tons, Godzilla Earth is at a serious disadvantage for this situation. However, he still has an extremely big mass and is the tallest Godzilla to date. Godzilla Earth has all the abilities of the old Godzilla, including a permeable shield, atomic breath, regeneration, and durability. But he also has loads of new powers. He can survive underground for thousands of years at a time. He has a super oscillatory wave which is capable of disrupting and destroying anything it contacts. It's also very, very loud. He has a shockwave that can be generated when he swings his massive tail. This will disintegrate anything it contacts and blow up everything around it. He has metallic skin, making it harder to pierce his body. And he has stealth. It is stated that Godzilla Earth can absorb sound waves such as radio waves and neutralize his own sound and energy output, making him very, very sneaky. This is broken when he uses his atomic abilities because he cannot do both things at once. This isn't really relevant to the fight at hand, although it does lead to the next point, which is Godzilla Earth has an extreme intelligence, as he knows to use his stealth abilities on human technology so that they can't track him. He also has full awareness of his surroundings. He even knows at one point to shoot down any human trying to escape Earth so that he can kill those who killed his son and get revenge on them for trying to pick a fight with him. His weaknesses don't change. The only additional thing I can think to add is that he's most likely slower than his younger counterpart, although I'm not totally sure about that because when you watch Godzilla Monster Planet, he moves quicker when he's full grown, so I'm not sure at all about that. Getting into the fight. Godzilla Earth loses the size battle by a long shot, but who needs size when you have skill? Godzilla Earth could easily kill a full-grown Clover in many ways. For instance, he could fire his atomic breath at it repeatedly, shooting holes in the monster's body while standing underneath it. He could use his sonic waves generated by his tail to cut off all of the monster's legs at once. This would render the Clover monster useless in a fight, and then Godzilla could just shoot it in the face with his atomic breath. He could also just cut off all the legs with his atomic breath, but I feel like he'd choose the tail thing because it's easier. He could cut off all Clover's legs and then use his sonic roar to compact the monster's head. He could cut off all the monster's legs and then step on its head. His mass would most likely be enough to do some real damage here with 100,000 tons, although let's be real, a 6,500 foot monster would have to win the weight category. Or he could just go up and physically fight the monster, however this would most likely not work too well due to his fairly small size. He might just get swatted away. Clover couldn't hurt this Godzilla. Clover can't disrupt the shield and kill Godzilla before the shield and Godzilla regenerate. Any damage that Clover does is gonna regenerate, even if Clover destroys the organ that's generating the EMP. He has nothing to emit this sound internally for Godzilla's organ to latch onto, meaning that the shield will automatically regenerate. Also, he has nothing to overload Godzilla because he doesn't have EMPs to place inside of Godzilla's body. And Clover, although big, was still harmed when small. This means that the ability to be harmed still exists, it's just scaled up to fit the new Clover's height. Godzilla, on the other hand, couldn't be harmed when he was small, and he can't be harmed now. Okay, so maybe Godzilla Earth is a bit overpowered. But even if we draw it back to Shin Godzilla, he would still beat Clover. He would just evolve into something that can kill the monster despite being thousands of feet smaller. Maybe he would evolve into a 10,000 foot tall monster and shoot lasers out of his back and shred Clover like cheese. Or maybe he would just cut off all of the 6,000 foot monster's feet with his normal purple atomic breath, and then with his atomic breath, just shoot the thing in the head and kill it. Being realistic here, Godzilla 2014 would be able to take down an adolescent Clover in a fight, but would surely lose to the full-grown monster. Godzilla 2004, on the other hand, is seemingly invincible. He surely would use his ultra-atomic breath to obliterate Clover, and seeing as though Clover can't siphon all of his power like Kaiser Ghidorah did, he won't take too much damage in this battle. GMK is also unstoppable and thus would win, and right now I'm referring to Godzilla 2004 and GMK taking on the full-grown monster. Burning Godzilla would either kill the 6,000-foot Clover monster with his atomic breath, or by self-destructing, melting the entire planet. Godzilla rulers of Earth Godzilla would just blow Clover up, like how he destroyed Magneta, the Trilopod, I think I pronounced that semi-right, who was at least 5 times taller than Godzilla. Or how about Godzilla from Godzilla in Hell? I mean, he was only able to blow up the entire planet Earth with his atomic breath in just one shot. Surely Clover could beat specific versions of Godzilla, such as a full 6,500-foot Clover monster fighting the Showa Godzilla. Of course he'd win, assuming that the Showa Godzilla doesn't just make up some power in order to win. Or a 6,000-foot Clover monster versus Godzilla 2002. That's an easy victory for Clover. But an amalgamation Godzilla? A 300-plus meter invincible, indestructible, flying, ever-evolving, laser eyes shooting, world-destroying monster? No way. There's simply no way to beat an amalgamation Godzilla. Breaking it down when fighting Godzilla, size does not matter. Godzilla will find a way to win 9 times out of 10. For the main topic of the video at least, Godzilla Earth would win this fight. He just can't be beaten by the Clover monster. He can't be beaten by many kaiju in fact. Unless there's something that can place an EMP inside of his body and disrupt his charge, he's just too well off. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new version of Godzilla vs. Clover, a topic that many people have touched on, but no one's really done in this light before. I hope you enjoyed. See you guys next time. D-Man, out.